This week on the Rental Report Review. Tomorrow she will know what she did tonight. Whirlpool, 1950. Neither heaven nor earth could keep them apart. A matter of life and death, 1946. After arriving in a small town, Zatoichi finds that a price has been put on his head when he's drawn into a trap with a former love. Zatoichi the Fugitive, 1963. A cop is assigned to catch a serial killer who is murdering his way through Rome's sexual underground. Obsession, a taste for fear, 1988. The bold story of a man caught between two strange loves. Too Late Blues, 1961.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we ask your undivided attention for a startling screen experience.
My love affair with Gene Tierney and Overbites began with Leave Her to Heaven not too long ago through this very series. I've been chasing that first high ever since, but have been marginally disappointed time and again to find her relegated to periphery. But with Whirlpool, finally, I'm back on the horse. This is one of the most enigmatic performances I have ever seen and is worth tracking down for the first hypnosis sequence alone. I really don't want to say much more because I came into this rather cold, knowing only that it was at least noir adjacent and that it was helmed by another growing favorite, Otto Preminger. And I was tickled every moment it unfolded before me.
Sure, that's smug.
This is a really dark movie about will and agency and trust and moral contracts wrapped in a devilish little crime thriller. I just want to say that the whole movie hinges on that hypnosis scene, and it is so adroitly plotted, performed, and captured that I opened Letterboxd and queened the entire cast and crew. It's real, with a touch of expressionistic heightening. Tierney steers her performance with a feathered touch of micro movements and more than convincingly, she hypnotizes us herself, at least me. It might also be the best multiple personality performance I've seen. I think it's probably worth a breakdown video.
We're infatuated with him, jealous of him. He used it to wreck your mind and character.
No.
I give Whirlpool 1950 4.5 stars.
You were there, there's proof.
Tierney is in most of the film, yet somehow still underutilized. But I mean, that's more to do with the construction of the script. First-ish is about her, and the back half is more investigation. So she kind of just sits off-screen waiting for other things to happen. And the investigation and the complications of the investigation are just so tepid next to Tierney's white-hot presence that the entire story left me lacking. I wish it went another level deeper or grander. The stakes are almost too small, too mid, technically. I think Hecht needed to bring some more of that notorious peanut butter to this chocolate. But good God, is this really a great film? This needs to be on more noir lists.
Come in, Lancaster. Are you bailing out?
Yes, Jude, I'm bailing out, but there's a catch. I've got no parachute.
Let it be known that I love Powell and Pressburger. Red Shoes is probably in my top 15, if not top 10. Their central interests and talent align transcendently around a tragic romantic fable that is a sound keystone in magical realism. Their ability to do all that is what I liked most about this film. What I didn't really like was the blatant propagandistic political debate that erupts in the afterlife around the latter half of this film and does its best to be the linchpin of the plot and global moral compass. Someone was right to make this about love, about a love so strong that blah blah blah, Orpheus, etc., etc. But maybe because it was truncated by jingoistic bloviating, I don't fully buy the on-screen romance. Loved their meet cute, but didn't see the moment they actually fell in mutual, deep, universe-shattering love. I give A Matter of Life and Death, 1946, 4 stars. It's gorgeous. I need a gorgeous jar. Cardiff is on fire. The cinematography is tangible and musty and ethereal and warming like the first sun of spring. I feel like there's all sorts of immigration romantic comedies that totally get this right. Those ones with Gerard Depardieu or Kevin Kline.
丸くさえ収めてやっておくんなさいし。止めてろうず。
I don't want to say I'm getting conned, but this is like 3 times now in a row I've seen just about the same movie. Zatoichi, the blind swordsman, not always immediately known to be Zatoichi, the blind swordsman, comes into another small town and is, again, turning factions against one another as he's confronted and chased by a past he thought he had left behind. I mean, when you lay it out like that, it is pretty compelling. Especially when Shintaro Katsu is so fast and stylish with his Iaido that alone can sustain just about any one of these movies. But with Tokuzo Tanaka back in the director's chair for his second installment, I don't want to say cares less, but definitely focuses more on the interpersonal drama that just skips off the melodrama and into heart-aching tragedy. I say him because there's a new writer on this one, and this seems to be in line with some of his general sensibility. Anyway, even aside from what's coming off the page of the script, it's the delicacy of the characters and the performances, especially the women. There is room and care for them to reach and swell in these arrhythmic crashing waves, framed and blocked to transmit the precise expression or bend of the body. It's so good. I give Zatoichi the Fugitive 4.25 stars. The last few episodes, Zatoichi himself has been the weak part as a character, as a plot device. He's taking on more of this clown role, cosmic clown, but it feels a little forced. But really, he seems to be less involved in setting up the film's initial conflicts, narratively speaking. He's not orchestrating, he's hanging back more, getting dragged in a way that feels not cheap, but inexpensive. Discounted. I really don't see how the next film can't go anywhere else but new territory. Well, I can. Something new has to happen, right?
Obsession. A taste for fear.
Beyond a certain point, all dangers are equal.
It's probably difficult to overestimate the influence the magazine industry had over the collective cultural consciousness in the 70s and 80s. I mean, surely before, but the level of excess, I'm talking about the fashion, erotic, advertising slice of the pie, in front of and behind the lens, the page, a seedy overworld of sex, capitalism, aesthetics, influence, drugs, fame, power. It's a hot zone for a psychosexual giallo thriller.
Is part truth.
You're going to look gorgeous, as usual.
Part fiction.
Could be any one of 1,000 women.
Few things go wrong here, though. There is a strong element of technopunk futurism that's extremely interesting and forethinking on one hand, but completely collapses from what seems like budgetary constraints or matters of taste that almost undermine the whole conceit of the film, but is also totally technically sound in other ways. I'm sorry, I know I'm being vague. It's also not quite totally a skin flick. I mean, there's lots of flesh, but it's marketably constrained for some unknown reasons, maybe allergic to money.
The men, the women, the high life, the low life, the fast life.
The psychological twists are moderately predictable, but still interesting. But just like about everything in this film, takes forever to play out. And yet, it's still vibey as fuck. I love the music, the attitude, the muscle mommy in the Amazons, the pot-smoking lone wolf abusive genius. I mean, I don't vibe with him, but he had a vibe.
You who need me, right?
A taste for passion. Obsession. A taste for fear.
I give Obsession, A Taste for Fear 1988 3.5 stars. It's almost like a giallo cross-pollination with Cinema du Look. It does just about everything you would want from those two genres, but dialed back to like 7 or 8. It never fully goes anywhere, but it does take some unexpected turns and grasps for something in the coming techno world. Prescient, but not quite prophetic.
Murdered.
By somebody who really enjoyed it. I could put you all away for this.
I take Piccio. I don't kill. Piccio.
Hold it, please.
Obsession.
I know who did it.
Obsession. Obsession. A taste for fear.
It really is nearly impossible to escape the gravity of Blow Up. If you haven't seen that, see that. That's absolutely in my top 10. All right, heading back to early Cassavetes and work my way back forward to fill in the gaps.
I gotta go make myself look pretty for you, don't I?
This is the follow-up to the debut and Ultra Verite Shadows. I've seen that. While there's still a lot of open, stacked, playful space to play, Too Late Blues is decidedly an entry into studio picture making of the time. Stages, crew, studio lighting. I mean, he's no stranger to a set, and even just a quick glance at the IMDb trivia reveals Cassavetes felt a little strangled by the apparatus. See, that's why I hate looking into behind the scenes before I finish writing these. Anyway, let's look at what carries over and mostly works. Cassavetes is cementing his growing fascination, exploration, observation of women in peril, contemporary no bullshit women in modern, postmodern peril. But he's not quite there yet. You feel the pull of empathy and curiosity to Stella Stevens' Jess Polanski, but the film never crosses over and never fully embraces her. And the film slides back into a sequence of unfortunate tropes of masculinity. But even that aside, this film is so clearly made for one scene, and that scene is incredible in every way that a Cassavetes scene can be incredible. The whole sequence around it, but after it passes, just about everything dawningly feels like a retcon to satisfy that initial creative impulse.
I know a fairly attractive woman who spends fortunes sponsoring the careers of talented young jazz musicians.
True or not, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I give Too Late Blues 3.5 stars.
Don't go.
It doesn't quite know how to end, so it just kind of implodes. I don't know much about Cassavetes' writing and creative praxis, but he seems to need room to explore somewhere that was probably less crystallized to even attempt a studio run at that point. Every actor in this has moments of brilliance, but the characters are often hazily inconsistent in ways that only seem to serve the plot. There was enough experimental cinematic razzle-dazzle to keep me activated. It's just a bummer when the tropes land as tropes instead of some of the brilliant inversions he has later. But that's growth, right? It's no wonder rock and roll totally obliterated this scene. This week, my weekly pick of the week is... It's not even close. I knew it wasn't going to be close the moment my beautiful klepto got busted. Stolen Pin? More like Stolen Heart Whirlpool. It's Whirlpool. This week's bonus feature is Zatoichi the Fugitive. Watch it and watch the women. Miwa Takada, Masayo Banri, Sachiko Murase. Stellar. The sword stuff's cool, but the ladies are where it's at in this one. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram and X to see what movies I'm renting next, and pretty much everything is on my letterbox. I am going to go watch some more movies. I hope you do too. Very well.